Hi, John. Thanks for coming in today. My name's Catherine Holcomb. I'm going to be interviewing you today and asking you some questions. Um, First, I'd like to go over some confidentiality. Everything you say in this office will be kept confidential. This is a safe space. There's a few instances that I'd have to break confidentiality if you were to mention any kind of abuse of a child or a vulnerable adult, abuse or neglect, or if you mention any kind of suicidal thoughts or possibly homicidal thoughts directed towards others. Um, those are really the only instances that I would ever have to break confidentiality. Does that make sense, or do you have any other questions?
No, that's whatever.
Okay. All right. Well, then I'd just like to go ahead and get started. John, what brings you in today?
Well, I'm supposed to come here. I'm court ordered to be here. Otherwise, the next step will be residential or juvie. So, yeah.
So, what happened for you to be court ordered into therapy?
I don't know. I was caught fighting at school again. I punched out another kid during the last football game, and we both got in trouble, and police brought me to the hospital, and then was brought to court, and they said that I had to go counseling sessions.
I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, I understand that you seem like you don't really want to be here and that this is not an ideal place for you right now. I'm hoping that through therapy, we can work through some other issues and we can talk about pretty much anything you want to. Feel free to ask me any questions. Um, that being said, I'd like to know a little bit more about the fighting at school. Is that the first time it ever happened?
No. Been in a lot of fights before. I mean, it's not even a big deal. But so there's this kid, right? And well, my girlfriend and I broke up a while ago, and so she starts seeing this new guy, and he's from the school across town. But well, my friends and I decided to go get some revenge on him, and so I broke into his car and took out his radio, and then he tracked me down at the football game a couple weeks later, started talking shit, and got up in my face, so I punched him out.
It seems like, I mean, you're really angry right now, just kind of even talking about that. I can imagine that you were really hurt for your girlfriend to break up with you and then to start dating this other guy. That seems like it'd be really difficult.
Yeah, well, whatever, forget her anyway. She's kind of trash anyway.
So, John, just to clarify, you are 17, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I'm practically an adult, so I don't see why I can't just do my own thing.
Who do you currently live with?
Living with my mom, but she's never really around anyway. She's too busy working and I guess trying to take care of my younger brothers and sister too. So she's barely around, and then when she is, she's just either zoning out to like the TV or the home is too chaotic anyway. So I try not to be home as much as possible.
Do you have any contact with your father?
No, he walked out as soon as they got divorced. It was, I don't know how many years ago, but he left, never said anything again, and we've just kind of been on our own since.
It seems like you have a lot to deal with right now, going home with a mother who's not really emotionally available and a father who essentially just kind of left you guys. Um, how do you feel about your parents being divorced?
I don't know. When Dad was in the home, things weren't that great anyway. I mean, he and my mom were always fighting, and I think it sounds, I don't know. I swear sometimes when they were fighting, things would get physical, because he liked to drink and he got pretty abusive, but I never saw anything and he never laid a hand on me. But I could tell that when they were fighting, it would get kind of bad. But eventually, it came to a head, and they got divorced, and he just never came back.
That sounds really scary, John. I'm really sorry to hear that. Did your safety feel threatened?
Like I said, it was kind of kept secret from us kids, but the walls are kind of thin in our home, so I mean, we heard it, and no, not afraid of him.
Okay. What is your relationship like with your parents?
Well, Dad's out of the picture, so forget him. And Mom, well, she's too busy working and trying to keep her head above water. So I just try and stay out of the way. And I can't stand my younger brothers and sisters. They're always into everything and breaking my stuff and just either complaining or crying about this or that, and it's too much.
So it seems like, with your mother being so busy, and then when she is home, her kind of quote unquote zoning out, watching TV, it seems like you guys don't have an opportunity to spend much time together and have much of a relationship. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
So,
which is why I don't like to be home. So it did suck when my girlfriend and I broke up, because I would spend most of my time with her.
Was your girlfriend someone who provided you with support?
Yeah.
Do you have a group of friends that you go to that you enjoy spending time with?
I do. I have a few kids at school that I hang out with. We're pretty tight.
Can you tell me more about your friendship with them?
This is all safe, right?
This is safe. Everything you say is safe.
Well, yeah. A few of my buddies and I will go out drinking anyway, and we smoke pot here and there, but I mean, it's no big deal. It's not like we're really breaking any laws. We'll just go out and have a few drinks, go get wasted, sometimes drink during school, but nothing ever really comes of it.
So, John, let me ask you, how often do you smoke pot or drink?
I do pot at least 2 or 3 times a week, but I don't like to get drunk too often, because I've seen what happens when people get drunk, and it's so easy to just lose control. But smoking pot is harmless.
So when you mentioned that you see what too much drinking will do, and you've seen people get out of control, were you referring to anyone specifically?
My dad.
Your dad, did he have an abusive relationship with alcohol?
I think so. He would come home from work and then start drinking, and you could kind of tell because he'd just get more and more irritated. But like I said, he never laid a hand on me. He never really. Well, I guess he would snap here and there at us, and start yelling. But it always seemed kind of normal.
John, your relationship with alcohol and pot, is it something that you seek out to get relief, or for what reason do you engage in these activities?
Because it's fun. It's what we do. We just sit around and hang out, and when I'm with my friends, everything just kind of feels better.
So it sounds like you're saying it's kind of part of the socializing experience. It's what your friends do. It's kind of how you guys get together. It's how you start talking. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So John, right now, what would you say that kind of makes your your issues with anger worse? I mean, we know that you're court ordered to be here in therapy right now. You mentioned a trigger of having your girlfriend date this other guy. Are there any other things that trigger your anger?
I guess when my mom comes home and if I'm there too and she tries to tell me what to do, I really hate that because, I mean, I'm 17, I'm practically an adult, and as soon as I turn 18, I'm going to be out of the house anyway, and it's not my responsibility to take care of my younger brothers and sister. It should be hers.
It seems like having your mom tell you what to do when she's not really involved much in your life on a day-to-day basis is quite frustrating. You're almost an adult. You've been taking care of yourself for a while, it sounds like, and then for her to kind of tell you what to do or what needs to happen around the house seems just really irritating. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you handle that when your mom tells you, hey, you need to go watch your siblings or you need to go clean your room? What's your response?
Well, it depends on how I'm feeling. If I'm still feeling pretty good from chilling with friends, I'll just be able to ignore it and blow her off. Maybe I'll just lock myself in my room. But otherwise, if she's really caught me on a bad day, I'll yell at her, blow up, storm out the house, and go find somewhere to be.
Have you ever gone into any physical altercations with your mother?
No.
Okay. How about your siblings?
Sometimes if they're breaking my stuff.
And what happens? Let's say one of your younger siblings breaks something. What would you do?
Well, first of all, I'd be trying to keep my things away from them, but if they did break one of my games, like one of them's always borrowing my Xbox games, and then he leaves them out the case, and then they get wrecked, and I mean, he's 15, so he can take it, so I'll just start yelling at him. Sometimes we'll shove each other, punch him a few times, we'll go back and forth, but I mean, it's normal, just brother stuff.
So your siblings, taking your stuff without asking, possibly even breaking it, might lead to a fight sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay. John, how do you feel on a day-to-day basis overall? I understand that, you have to be here right now, and I understand that this is not your first choice, but overall, how do you feel? And, if I could help you, what would you like to get out of therapy?
Well, I don't know. I guess you kind of asked two different questions there. I feel just angry most of the time, and if I could get anything out of this, it'd just be to get out of my home. I hate having to live in a house where my mom's always gone, and then when she comes home, she tries to tell me what to do, and then while she is gone, she can't control her own kids. So it just kind of pisses me off, and I don't want to deal with it anymore. So I just want to get out.
So on a day-to-day basis, I mean, you're feeling pretty angry regardless of what's happening. I mean, you have a lot of stress in regards to family life. And it sounds like what you're telling me is you're just ready to be out of the house completely.
Yeah, that's right.
John, have you ever considered that if you are to get into another fight and seriously harm somebody else, that you might actually end up in jail or prison?
Yeah. That kind of bothers me. I mean, I'm not really scared of it. I just don't think it's good to wind up in jail. But I just think, I mean, that's why I'm here. So I don't have to go to residential, so that I can just get on with my life.
I think this is a great time to bring up goals. So what could you do to prevent yourself from going to jail? I mean, other than being in therapy right now, what could you do as far as your behavior on a day-to-day basis?
I don't know, smoke more pot.
Well, I'm sure that would make you a lot more calm when things become frustrating overall, but I don't think that would eliminate the stressors altogether. Because overall, John, life is incredibly stressful at times, and we just have to come up with helpful ways to cope with the stress. Are you in any sports or do any other activities that kind of might release some of that stress or anger?
No, not in any of that.
How do you feel about sports? How do you feel about something like that you could funnel all this energy into something like boxing?
So boxing I could probably do. I could probably be really good at that.
I can see that in you. I bet you would be really good at that. I think this is a good stopping point as far as where we can go forward. I think right now you could probably call a few different gyms and see what their options are for individuals who are interested in starting boxing, and kind of just see what you think about that and get started with there. And then when you come in next time, we can talk about that and see how that's been going. How does that sound?
Okay, I think that's a good start, I guess.
Okay, well, thanks for coming in today, John, and I look forward to speaking with you next week.
All right, thank you.